So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk on Astrology, and today we're going to be covering several different things. The very first thing that I'm going to actually say here is that I'm going to be uploading the video of 2022 horoscope and what to expect in 2022 on my KRS vlogs, which is at the description and on this video, or you can go to astrologykrs.com. Under courses, you will see KRS vlogs. These are my uncensored vlogs where I talk openly, and they're at my academy, Magha Vedic Astrology Academy. So I'm going to be uploading the video of 2022 horoscope there, and just to even talk about some of the things that I will be talking about. Like, for example, literally on January 1st. Okay, so like January 1st, 001 second, as soon as that new year begins, Jupiter is literally at the edge. It is literally at the edge. I believe it's going to be 60 degrees and 30 arc minutes of Dhanishta Nakshatra in the sign of Aquarius. And then it's going to be switching in a few days to Satabhishak Nakshatra after 6 degrees and 40 arc minutes in the sign of Aquarius. And of course, this is on the sidereal Vedic side. And one of the things you will see with this Jupiter, because Jupiter is what? Jupiter, just look at the significance of Jupiter. What does a Jupiter signifies? It signifies money, wealth, right? Banking. Banking is ruled by Jupiter. Why? Because not only is the significator of the second house of wealth, but it rules the sign of Sagittarius, which also represents banking. Why? Because it's the second from the 8th house. 8th house represents loans, other people's money. So gain of other people's money is the process of banking. And this is where Jupiter becomes very important. But in Satabhishak Nakshatra, you will see a lot of financial, I wouldn't really say crimes, but I guess you can say that, but a lot of financial scams taking place. Like, people will be, and again, you do what you want with your investment. I'm not a, financial advisor. I am a planetary advisor. But in this period, especially people who do like a lot of day trade, people who do a lot of, like, let's say, investments in crypto, you want to be careful there, because there's going to be a lot of scenarios where secret groups that are unknown are going to be banking on something where a lot of other people, kind of fall victim to it. So you want to be careful. Now, of course, if you're doing long-term investing, then it doesn't matter if the market goes down, right? That's the 101 of investment. You want the market to go down so you can actually buy the stocks that were doing well, because once the market goes up, it'll do well. But see, Satabhishak, I'm going to go deeper into it. Why? And there's other things that I'm going to be discussing with this Jupiter in Satabhishak. Satabhishak is a very, it is just as mysterious and just as complex as Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. And it's funny enough, they're both occurring in the sign of Aquarius. And if you got to understand, Aquarius is the sign of the collective, and it is also the sign of gains and the marketplaces. It represents all kinds of marketplaces. It represents economics. Aquarius represents economics. So like this, I'm going to be discussing that along with other placements, especially based on a certain ascendant. Okay. Now, the second thing I want to discuss is which chart to use in your life. Yes, I'm about to make your life more complex. You thought it was already complex with Vedic astrology. Let's make it a little bit more complex, but actually it's a very simple thing. Some people should be using their ascendant chart. Some people should be using their moon chart. So who should be really studying planetary dashas, timings, transits from their ascendant or the moon? Well, very simple. Look at the degree of your ascendant and the moon. Whichever holds the lower degree, use that chart as your ascendant and then see what has happened in the timing it has happened. It's that simple. So again, yeah, it's another step in the ocean of Vedic astrology, but it's just makes life a lot simpler sometimes, because a lot of people keep asking, even with the transit video, should I be looking from the ascendant or the moon? Well, now you know which one should you look for, even though ascendant is the unraveling of the karma. But yeah, there is this matrix that, okay, you should just use the moon chart. So if moon, let's say, is at 8 degrees in the sign of Aries, and your ascendant is 20 degrees. So in that case, moon being the lower degree planets holds more weight. So you use the moon chart, meaning moon, you make moon the ascendant, and whatever planets are there from there, you start studying that, because that will have more gravitational pull in your life. Because like for example, there's a concept known as Graha Yuddha. When two planets are conjunct, which one will prevail, which one will control the other? It's about the control. Well, whichever one is lowest in degree will control. Now, if with two planets, sun is involved, and if one planet is above the degree of the sun, then that becomes a little bit of a different thing, because then that planet might actually become the royal regal planet, because it's now sitting above the king. So there's these little scenarios. So that's one thing. Then a lot of people also ask me, is there a way to see the karmas that we are accumulating in our life right now? I know we are coming from the past life karmas, and we're dealing with all the things in our life, whether it's our marriage, our career, our education, or all kinds of hurdles and issues. But what are we doing in this life? Well, this is something that usually is seen by an astrologer. Like, for example, when somebody comes in and asks me, okay, can I buy a car? Or like, for example, they're getting the car home item consultation. They're like, do I have car in my luck? So the birth chart really shows a difficult, position of attaining any kind of like vehicle, or any kind of like, just vehicle, cars, any kind of like a transportation system. But then once I, as an astrologer or someone else, runs the prashna, meaning the actual time when I'm looking at the chart, that chart shows your current karmas that have accumulated, and they will show, has this person done any good deeds? Perhaps that good deed will show up in the 4th house, because 4th house would be really well placed during prashna. And so you can see that because of their current karmas, which they were designed to do, they have now accumulated enough good karmas to attain that car. And this is the way this is one of there are many ways actually to see current karmas, but this is one of the ways to see how the current karmas are manifesting. So if you know astrology, and please make sure that you know enough about astrology, because like even to this day, I get people who have been following me for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, and they're like, oh, I'm going to run into my debilitated sun dasha. I'm going to run into my debilitated Mars dasha. I'm really worried. And I'm like, you're saying you're a fan of me, you've been following me for this long, and now you're automatically going back to your, first stage of astrology. I mean, like, I can't tell you like how many times I've actually seen Mula Nakshatra person going through Mula Dasha, meaning a planet like Saturn in Mula Nakshatra, and they're making enormous amount of money. And here you are basically are at the level 1 of understanding, not even being able to understand exaltation and debilitation. So make sure when you are looking at the prashna, you know what you're looking at and how you're looking at it. Or if you're looking at your chart for how things are, make sure just because it's a debilitated planet doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It actually could be the king of your chart. It could be the kingmaker for you. Okay, but so anyway, guys, just wanted to give this little tidbit knowledge here. But I will be uploading the 2022 horoscope on KRS vlogs, and for that you can check out the links here, including my consultations and books and reports at astrologykrs.com. Otherwise, we'll come back to our scheduled programming from tomorrow. All right, bye bye.